speaker, Dave, he will be presenting some information on cataract surgery, which he'll be undergoing next Thursday. This will be speech number 8 in the Confident Communicator Manual using visual aids. So please welcome Dave and his speech through a glass darkly.
Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guest. As my introduction says, I'm about to undergo cataract surgery. Now, St. Paul said once that once I saw as in a glass darkly, but now face to face. So I sort of did it in the opposite in my life. I started out young. I had pretty good eyesight. I didn't have to wear glasses till I was in my 20s, and I was in graduate school or in college and got my eyes kind of messed up by reading too much. But I've seen pretty well all through my life, and although I've had to have progressively stronger lenses, I've been okay until I was approaching my birthday, which was my 70th birthday. And one thing in Arizona, when you turn 70, you have to get new not new glasses. You got to get a new driver's license, and that involves passing the glasses or the seeing test. So I went to the ophthalmologist at Cigna Medical. Cigna's got a couple of facilities, or a number of facilities in the Phoenix area. One of them is not very far from here, the Harris Center. It's on Baseline, which is where I usually go. But anyways, when I went to the doctor, and he looked at my prescription that I'd need and so forth, he said, no way it's going to pass. I'll do your driver's license. So I said, well, what do we do? I knew I'd had cataracts. In fact, I'd been told, pretty soon you'll have to do this, about 4 or 5 years ago. And I've gotten this far, and I figured, oh, well, one more time, I'll just get a little more strong glasses, and I'll be able to see well enough to pass the driver's license test. But no, he said, nah, no way. You're going to have to get cataract surgery. So I went to the even more important doctor who actually checked my glasses, or my vision, to see if I really qualified to have cataract surgery. And she said, it's kind of close. Usually we don't get people till they're 80 or so. I said, well, I can't get a driver's license. That kind of, messes up my lifestyle if I can't drive. And she said, well, let me look closely. And she said, yeah, it really does bother your vision to this extent that you can't pass the test. So, okay, I'll okay you for cataract surgery. Well, I got signed up for a test. It was a class, which was this last Monday, where I got a lot of information on cataract surgery. Now, you can turn over your little thing in front of you there, if you don't have one, or there's one looking at some others around here. This shows what a cataract looked like and how the operation works that they do on you. The cataract is behind the cornea and the fluid that's there, but it's in a little sac of its own, and they can cut that little sac open and take out all the pieces of the old lens and then put a little unfoldable one in there. And when they do that, then you can see again. Sometimes after a year or two, the back side of that little sac that they have there will get cloudy itself. But there since it's not part of the actual thing that works on your sight, that bends the light so that it's going to the retina in the right places. So they just cut a little hole in the thing so that the light can get through and you're okay then. I'm going to pass a couple things around here, just because this is a visual aids situation. First of all, some medicines that you have to take. And we already got these when we went to the class. They didn't wait until just before the thing. They didn't pass it out there. First of all, get 2 boxes of this eye drop, special eye drop that's got medication in it that you're supposed to use for a couple days before the surgery, and then I'll pass this along with this little chart that tells you when you're supposed to do it, so you can check them off and you make sure you get them all done properly. And that's to keep you from getting any infection in your eye, which would be a bad thing to have happen. Also on the same thing, there is some medicated ointment that you have to take down your thing and put a little piece of it across there and a little piece up on top, so that, because actually your eyelids are one of the hardest things to keep clean and to keep bacteria out of. And so they have to do that to try to kill the bacteria so it doesn't get inside and mess up your cornea. In fact, they said a lot of times there's a bacteria. If you ever get little crystalline stuff in your eyes and stuff, that's actually the bacteria that's there. So pass this around, which shows where we'll be going. This is in downtown Phoenix, so it's on, let's see, what is it? I can't see so well anyway. 3rd Street and north of Thomas. So it's going to, unfortunately, my appointment is 7:30 in the morning, or I have to be there by 7:30 for a 9:15 surgery. So, by the way, the surgeries are very quick. They only take a few minutes. And got a lot of paperwork. I'll pass this one around too, just see what it looks like. And that I only have to do for a couple days, and then we're done with that. Well, I have a little apprehension, but they're pretty clear that almost everybody who gets it gets better. Like 99% of people get better vision. And it says also that even 80% of the people think that it's easier and works better than they thought it would. So I'm feeling pretty confident that it's going to go well. I'll be here next week because the surgery is on Thursday. But then the next following week, I may or may not be here. I signed up for Alconnor, by the way, who knows. So I wish me all luck and prayers, and I will hope to this, I will see you next week, and I hope to see you in a couple weeks as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
I'd like to now call up our second evaluator, Chris Marshall.
Thank you, Mr. President. We were treated today with a wonderful speech by Dave. Unfortunately, I'm not filled with great delectation that you have to have surgery. I wish no one should have to have surgery, but if it's going to make you better, then I wish the surgery goes well. One thing I especially loved about your speech was that you not just incorporated your personal experience of having cataracts and having to go through cataract surgery, but you included some research as well. You gave us a little bit of facts as far as what cataracts are and how many people they're affecting. So I think this is one of your more diverse speeches in terms of giving the audience research information. Your visual aids are the primary purpose of your speech, is to be very visual with it, explaining what your cataracts are and what you're going to be going through. And you have great visual aids, because these visual aids here, by assigning a piece of paper to each audience member, not only gives them a close-up view of what you're explaining, so that way it's not hard for them to see in a backdrop. The only thing I would suggest was actually maybe trying to switch up the visual aids from now on, just trying maybe one or two, maybe just a PowerPoint, a slide, a poster, or anything like that. Because even though that these are great, it's nice to use computer-aided visual aids or even just larger ones. Because when you're describing the sac behind the retina or the lens, and by having that back here, you can actually point to it and show everyone here, because at the same time, you might be describing it, but they're looking at the piece of paper and they're not exactly sure what they're looking at. You had a couple openings to incorporate some humor, especially when you were right over here and you were like, oh, it's kind of hard to see. It's kind of you could have fit that in just a little bit. And the only other thing I would suggest is transitioning from some of your sentences. You end one sentence and quickly begin the other one instead of just pausing for like a quick second. And then you kind of slow down your other sentences. Otherwise, your speech was terrific. You utilized your visual aids and you passed around the other resources there for us to see. So I really enjoyed your speech. And one thing, final thing I wanted to say that I think you improved on greatly was utilizing space, because I saw you move around a little bit more and you actually kind of came up over here a little bit. And I think there was a shell that was definitely broken a little bit based on the last speech I saw you on. So great job, and we look forward to your next speech.
Woo woo!